Hello, everybody, and welcome to a retro stream. Sorry, I had a bit of technical difficulties, but we will be on our way soon. So yes, thank you for joining me tonight. Tonight we are doing a retro night in Canada, bringing back the series. Basically, we're gonna play a retro game, and tonight we are playing NHL '94. Since the NHL has been pretty much is dead now until the Olympics are over. It's just a matter now of um, streaming accordingly. So might as well have streamed the NHL '94. So here we are. So why am I doing this? I don't know. Sorry, I'm still a little rusty on the streaming thing. Yes, this is what I wanted. Boom, 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 post, go live. Should have done this before, but I ran into a few issues. So give me a few seconds. All right. I think we are good. I am showing on YouTube, so I am good. All right, just let me know if you guys can hear. Let me see if I actually hear it. I think we are good. I am showing on YouTube, so I am good. All right, just let me know if you guys can. Give me a second. I think, yeah, there we go. There we go. We are good. You guys can hear the sound now. Good. So we are playing NHL '94. Unfortunately, it's not on the original hardware. This is on my Xbox Series X, so it's not the same. I'm actually going to try and play this with an Xbox controller, which is going to feel weird. Typically, I used to play this on an emulator, which is it's easier to play with like a NES controller or Genesis controller than this. But hey, we're gonna see how it goes, and we're gonna take it from there. And there's double feedback, and that's because I put the sound. There we go, and that should be resolved. All right, let's do this. The rosters are a little old, so. Let's try with regular season. Is there one for... No, it's just playoffs. Let's do playoffs. Let's do this. Montreal, Toronto. Let's do this. I'm gonna suck. So, I apologize in advance. This is not going to be great, but it is what it is. Yep. Montreal. All the way. I might not get through all the whole playoffs, but hey. My first foray into NHL was the NHL hockey, which was on PC, which is very different from this. Which apparently this came out before the PC version, and I always thought the other way around. But that's hey, that's me. All right, let's do this. You know what's great about this game is the rosters are more recent. I think it's a few years ago now, but we have Carey Price in net, which, I mean, that is fantastic. I am going to hit the wrong button. Apparently, Y stops the game now and pauses the game, which I don't know. I don't even know how to... Oh, there we go. Okay, so... Oh, come on. Come on. Let's do this. Oh. See, I'm going to press the wrong button. I knew I was going to press the wrong button. And this is back, I think this is the roster. I don't know who's on Toronto, but I think they were starting to become decent at this point. And I know there's the trick of the shooting, but I think I'm too rusty. Oh no, oh no, oh no. Oh no. Oh yeah, that's why we have Carey Price. Because I suck. Let's do this. Nice! Jonathan Drouin from Tomasz Tatar and Carey Price. Holy shit. Playing this on an Xbox controller is so weird. It is extremely weird. Let me know if the sound is okay, if you know, if the game is overpowering or whatever. I am still rusty at this. Even this is what, my third stream since and something I've noticed as well, and this is kind of leading me, I can't really get off of Twitch for now, but I try to watch streams on Twitch, and I don't even have an ad blocker, and every 3 seconds, it tells me that there's an error on the player, like, no, error to, or playback error, or whatever, and it's like, really? Which is so annoying. Plus there's ads, which suck balls. Honestly, I don't know why anybody would watch Twitch nowadays. It's honestly unbearable to watch. No, no. Thank you. My god, I suck at this. Let's do this. And I tried to play the new NHL games, and it's so unbalanced, it's not even funny. So, if you play like the easiest level, you win pretty much every face-off. There's no way to lose a face-off. But if you play anything else but easy, it's impossible to win a face-off. Yeah, I get it. There's probably people that, no, there's tricks to this and whatever. Okay, fine. But, you know, it's like, come on. Come on, people. Oh, come on. But yeah, I forgot how bad the experience on Twitch is. And I feel bad for people that watch on Twitch. I really do. I really do. Aw, come on. I was just getting my mojo going. And I know this weekend is Super Bowl weekend, and I do watch football. I just couldn't care less about the Super Bowl this year. And on top of that, the halftime show does not interest me at all. Like Bad Bunny. Okay. Like, regardless of all the you know, the different, the controversies or whatever, I just don't like Bad Bunny. So to me, it's whatever. And unfortunately, the best, come on. Thank you. The best halftime shows are all the bands that I grew up with. So when there's like Metallica that plays, or, you know, Paul McCartney or whatever. Although I have to say, the one with the old school hip hop was fantastic. I think that's the last one I truly really liked. You had Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, and so on and so forth. That was fantastic. Because yes, unlike my exterior, I am. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for joining. Yeah, it's been a while. It's 3 years in the making. I haven't been streaming for 3 years. Actually, the stream is for charity. I'm in Canada, so I'm in Montreal. So the stream is for Um, let's see if it actually works. I forgot to actually put this. There we go. Hopefully it shows up everywhere. I think it shows up everywhere. Let me check my... Oh, it didn't work on my YouTube channel. I'll put it on my YouTube channel. Donation link. I guess I must have not programmed that properly, which is usually the case. Why can't I post? Well, that sucks. How do you post on... Okay, so let me just do this. Send on... There we go. That should make it to my YouTube channel. Yeah, that made it to the YouTube channel. Awesome. Yes, so having said that, yes, it has been 2 years since 3 years since I've actually streamed. I think I did a free streams here and there, but I really didn't do anything much. Main reason is because I had 2 kids. Well, the last time it's because of my second kid. But yeah. And I'm doing next Friday an actual charity stream the whole day, so it's a streamathon. It's not going to be like 18 hours or whatever. I'm not that crazy. But it's going to be most of the day. I'm starting at 10 a.m. Eastern time in Montreal. And I will be streaming till roughly around 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and that's when I have to go pick up my kids. So it is what it is. But thank you for joining the stream. I really appreciate it. And the stream is for the Montreal Children's Hospital in Montreal. And the reason I'm doing that here is because, or that's my charity of choice, because my daughter had a heart operation, and it went super well, and I was super well treated, and I already liked the Montreal Children's before, because I know they've helped a lot of the family, but that really hit home for me, and they were fantastic with my family, so I always said that I would try and pay it back somehow, and I don't really care for making money off streaming for myself, so okay. Apparently I suck. Okay, sure. As for halftime shows, yes, I'm back for halftime shows. Yeah, the halftime shows really don't do it for me, really. And the commercials, it's not like the way it used to be. Before, like, years ago, you couldn't find those commercials. They would run, like, at Super Bowl, and maybe, if you were lucky, you had a show that said, hey, you know, these are the top 10 or whatever. Now you can find all those commercials online after the fact, and it's like, yeah, you don't really need to watch the Super Bowl for that, so. And do I care for the Patriots? No. Granted, my team is the Dolphins, which just really doesn't help. I'm a sucker for punishment. But at least I don't cheer for the Leafs. Yeah, there hasn't been like any hype for Miami in like so long. They had that one year where they had like somewhat of, but yeah, again, I don't care. Like, is it the one from last year that had the a cameo by what's her name? Why can't I remember her name? The tennis player, Serena Williams. And then everybody made it as if like, I think that was the one. They made it out like, oh, it's a protest thing and blah blah blah. Okay, fine. But at the end of the day, I don't like the artist. Like, the protest would mean more to me if I cared for the artist, and I don't. I don't mind Kendrick Lamar. It's not my thing, right? Yeah, okay, it was the. It's just not my thing, and I mean, it's fine. It doesn't have to be for everyone, right? Like for how many years now, basically since the um, Michael Jackson halftime show, which is what kind of kicked off the Super Bowl halftime show in general. Um, the big ones that we know, like it always existed, right, before, but until Michael Jackson did it, that kind of cemented how it should be, or how it is today. And it's less about the game now and more about the actual halftime show. There's been some good Super Bowls, like don't get me wrong, like the Seahawks, the one that they fumbled the play at the end of the game, and there's been a few good ones, but in general, I'm sorry, but I just can't. I can't. There we go. Oh, nice save. I just earned points. How? I have no idea. But hey, it is what it is. Actually, what I really liked last year, that was something that was different. I know for years I kind of wasn't a big fan of the Pro Bowl, because it's kind of like, yeah, it's kind of fun, but whatever. And most All-Star games kind of suck. The NBA kind of, it's bland now. I actually liked what the NHL did. Doing a Four Nations Cup. Now, the thing that I didn't like about it is that it's like, you have the U.S. and Canada, and then the other two nations were completely, like, random. Which made no... Like, there were other countries that could have probably made it, but anyways. And I understand why they did that. But the intensity was insane. Part of that is due to political tensions between the countries, and I get that. But it was fun. It was energetic. Players didn't care if they got injured. They were playing for their country. What I hate about the Super Bowl, not the Super Bowl, but what I hate about the All-Star game is, I started watching it too. I actually started watching women's hockey. I've actually gotten into women's hockey. Because here in Montreal, there's the Montreal Victoire, which I'm a big fan of. And anyways, I've been watching the women's hockey game, which they won today. However, there's a stomach flu going around in the Olympics, and it's not looking good for some teams. They had to cancel the Finland-Canada game. I think it's postponed to the day before the medal rounds. Actually, the goaltender for the Swiss was fantastic. She was playing. Yeah, they lost 4-0, but she stood on her head, man. She was like really, and I'm actually happy for women's hockey. Like, yeah, a lot of people are complaining. They're fed up of hearing the equality type of thing. But the thing is, there's good players. Like, even the players that play for the Montreal Victoire, they actually practice with the Montreal Canadiens, right? Like, should they're consultants, or they actually, they do it. So they're good players. I feel the quality of the players in general in the women's hockey league is better than what's in the WNBA. Like, the WNBA, you have like a few outliers. Caitlin Clark, Asia Wilson, stuff like that. But it's, yeah, I can't wait for that. Canada US is going to be fantastic. The two countries absolutely hate each other. And they have different strengths, right? So if you look at the players themselves, Canada has the better overall players. McKinnon, McDavid, I feel, but from depth and a goaltending perspective, I feel the Americans have a little bit better. They're a little bit better. I don't really Logan Thompson. I don't know if is he making it. Well, Caps suck. The Caps don't actually. I think last year they played above their means. And watching Ovechkin, I know he's getting older. He's still scoring his goals, but he gets literally on the ice, gets one shot, gets out. Like there's no like he doesn't really play anymore. Um, and he's still good. He still has an insane shot, but well, Logan Thompson, technically speaking, if I looked at numbers, he would be number one. I don't know why they went with Bennington. I really don't. Like, I'm not saying Montembeault should have been there. He didn't. He doesn't have the numbers to make it. But I don't understand why they went with Bennington. They could have gone with Wedgwood. They could have gone with Blackwood. Yeah, if he's healthy, I think he's still nursing stuff. No, if I remember correctly. By the way, I have missed this. Um, okay, so he's fine. All right. So game one in the books, I won 7-3. So first series is 1-0 for the Montreal Canadiens. Did you actually did you change your name? I think I remember who you were. I just don't remember if Stimp. There we go. I knew I remembered you. I remembered you. I remember the conversations we had. I just didn't remember the name. Yeah, you were Stimp. Because I think you're the only one that used to come in and talk either hockey or Washington hockey. So, continue playoffs. Let's do this. I'm playing this on an Xbox controller and it's super weird. Start. Yeah, okay. There's been a lot of changes. Although the thing that I'm surprised the most about is that I stopped for 3 years, 3+ years, and I only lost 20 followers. I was at 306, 305, and I came back to pretty much the same. No, they're not going all the way. They're exciting, but they're not there yet. But it's gonna be when the Habs do end up being fully mature. They will be. They're extremely. They're super exciting to watch, and to be honest, like for the first time in 30+ years, we actually did a rebuild the proper way. Yeah, that when your team sucks. But you know what? I have to give the Montreal Canadiens. They were upfront. They said, "Look, we're doing a rebuild. It's going to take the time that it takes, and that's it." He had pieces already in. Whoops. He had pieces already in. So he had Caulfield, Suzuki. He had a starting of a foundation. The backlash over not picking Mitchkov was insane. The fact that we got Ivan Demidov was a luck of the draw. Oh, come on. I scored in my own net. Boo. The thing with a lot of these teams, and I feel that Tampa Bay is going to fall in that category soon, they mortgage their future to win a cup right now. And I feel that that's not what Gordon and Hughes are doing. They're not trading at all costs, and they're not losing. No, they're still picking, and our scouting has been fantastic. And the fact that they're doing it properly, I feel that we're gonna be like it's gonna be similar, and I'm not saying we're gonna win cups and stuff like that. I'm not saying that. I'm not that delusional. I'm not the Maple Leafs. Um, but I feel like we're gonna be a bit like the Detroit Red Wings in the sense that the Detroit Red Wings always like even though there's people that retired, people left, they always had replacements that were able to take over, right? And I feel the Montreal Canadiens are building in that same vein. But Slavkovsky, like Caulfield has been coming in. No, yeah, Caulfield's young, but he's still a vet on the team, right? Um, um, Slavkovsky has been coming into his own. Demidov is amazing to watch, and the worst part about it is that he's not bad defensively. Like he'll back check, which is rare for a kid his age, right? Um, Kapanen as center with 18 goals already this year as a rookie. That's insane. Now, the only thing that's really been sucky this year, and unfortunately, well, now they just fired their goalie coach, was the goaltending. Montembeault has not been the same player this year. Dobesh wins, but his save percentage is horrible. It's better than Montembeault, but it's still pretty bad. So, like, to say, like, come on. No. No. So we kind of don't have. We tried Fowler for a while. Fowler's going to be good, but he's still young. He's still learning. He needs to have a good season and a good run in the playoffs. So we're stuck with Dobesh. And Dobesh is, ever since they made the goalie change, both goalies have been playing actually pretty fantastic. Dobesh played the I think 3 of the last 4 games before the All-Star before the break, and Montembeault on this last game against Winnipeg he's the reason why we won. Without him, we would never have gotten out of the first period. So. Nice. Yeah, the thing is, yeah, we lost the series, but I felt like it was winnable. Like the first game, we tied it back up. We got to overtime. We lost. The second game we've lost. The third game in Montreal, we demolished them. Game 4, we lost. And that's the thing, right? I felt it was a winnable series, and honestly, Thompson kept them in there. We just didn't have the team. We just didn't have the maturity. Which it's fine. It happens. Boo. Boo Tabernacle. Ew. Oh, come on. You better not score. Really? Really? That's what we went for? A double pass into the neutral zone? Nice! Brendan Gallagher with the tip-in. Yeah, so the Habs are going to be pretty exciting to watch for a few years. Honestly, the Metropolitan is suffering badly because the Atlantic has been so strong, and ironically, the Leafs are the ones that are the worst. They you have even right now as we're talking, even the yeah, but they were running on like basically 2 people. First of all, they had like half of the first series they didn't have Protoss or whatever his name is. but they didn't really. But the Atlantic Division now is like super. It's like it's every team is good. You know, if you take any team in the East and you put them in the West, most of them would be making the, except for the Leafs, most of them would be in a hunt for a playoff spot. Just because you're in the Atlantic, you might not actually make the playoffs with 100 points. Like I'm actually, this year it's insane. You know. But yeah, but the Avs at one point, them too, they're not stupid. Look at what happened to Boston. The year they did amazing. What happened? They fizzled in the playoffs. Why? Because they did everything they did everything they could in the season during the season, and they beat the. And I know I'm a Habs fan, and I know I'm gonna sound like I'm complaining for nothing, but it's not the same. What the in terms of like points in a season by a team, it's not the same today that it was in the 1970s. I feel what the Montreal Canadiens did in the 70s was much more impressive than, because now you have points for everything. Like to me, you shouldn't give a loser point in overtime. To me, that makes no sense. You're giving points away for nothing, and now everybody plays for the point. And if you go to the shootout, it's a 50-50 chance, and maybe sometimes you win, sometimes you might not. But you know, so back to your point with the Avs is that they're slowing down, and it's fine. The break is coming. They had no they had a few major injuries in the last like little while, so I'm sure they're gonna come back. They're gonna beat the teams they need to beat, and that's it. They won't. Somebody makes money off of it. I don't like. I like the 3-on-3. I don't like the shootout. And I'm a soccer fan, and even for me, like for like the World Cup or whatever, I feel a game getting decided on a fucking penalty shot is not. You know, it's not really a good way to win, especially in soccer. You know, a save is more like I love. Well, look at the Montreal Canadiens. They thrive on 3-on-3, right? Um, Unfortunately, they it's insane, but they thrive on 3-on-3. Um, just trying to see something here. All right, let's do this. Third period of the second game of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Whoa. Starting off strong in the third period with Brandon Gallagher. And I don't know what it is this year. And I've watched a few out of game, few out of market games. Is it just me, or the penalty, the refereeing is atrocious? Like, I don't know if you saw, there was a couple of weeks ago, there was a penalty on Lane Hudson, and he wasn't even close to the guy. Like, when I mean he wasn't close, like the guy tripped on his own. Lane Hudson was 2 feet away, and the guy fell because, I don't know, he didn't pivot properly. He fell on his own, and they called Lane Hudson for a tripping call. And then there was another night as well. There was something. It's atrocious. And if this is gonna be okay, and I always laugh that, you know, yeah, if you look it up, I think it's called Lane Hudson Phantom Call. You'll see it. It made the rounds. It was insane. It was really really bad. And I still don't understand to this day why you have um, refereeing having makeup calls. I don't understand that. I really don't. Like, why? It makes no sense. Ah, I missed it. You should call the game the way it is. If the like for example, if the Habs get like 7 penalties and you deserved all 7, great. You know, yeah, I would be pissed at the Montreal Canadiens, but at least I wouldn't be calling the referees dumbasses. Now it's kind of like you have one call, and then you have another call, the same exact penalty, same exact, play. One gets called, the other one doesn't. Why? And the thing that kills me, and when I remember, I'm old enough to remember, when we had one referee on the ice, and the argument back then was like, oh well, we have two referees, so penalties will be called and blah blah blah. Okay, where did that go? Go back to one referee if this is going to be the type of refereeing that you're going to be putting. And the worst part is when the playoffs are going to start, the whistles are going to go away. You're going to be able to pretty much like murder the guy on ice. Unless it's a makeup call. Unless it's a makeup call. They're going to... Come on. La Maple Leafs. Oh, hit the post. Why can't I not even get out of my own zone? This is the typical Montreal Canadiens. They stay in their zone, nobody scores, and then they go the other way and they score. I didn't do that now, but that's usually how it goes. No, 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 no. Come on. 2 minutes left into the third period. They're going to pull their goalie. Could have gotten the rebound. Of course they score. I passed it right to their ass. Bastards. Yeah, so I don't know if they're going to change anything in the NHL. They really have to do something about the refereeing. Ooh, nice. They really have to do something about the refereeing. It's really, really suck. It really sucks. Thanks. Which other game did I watch? I think it was an Ottawa Senators game. And it's like, it was something similar. It's like, was it a penalty? Well, debatable, but you don't call everything consistently. How does that work, right? Jeff Petrie from Carey Price. I miss Carey Price. Not because our goalie situation sucks, but I just miss the guy. He never had a team. He freaking took a team on his shoulders, and he got them to the finals in 2021, fully knowing that was pretty much his last game. Him and what's his name, Weber. You know how they were really like in that final, they were really banged up. I think if they would have been healthy, I think they would have done a little bit better than what they did in the final. Carey Price was down and out. He was on one knee. Shea Weber had no foot, apparently. What else? Paul Byron. He's another one that never played a game after that. Gallagher took a long time to get back from that final. He only started being good again last year. It's gonna end at some point. It has to. I don't think that we have like the only team right now. Maple Leafs are out of the running now. I don't see them doing anything to win a Stanley Cup at this point. Matthews, the worst decision they ever made is giving Matthews the C. That was the worst decision they ever did. They're going to regret it. Nice. They're going to regret it. Tavares is aging. They don't have anybody. Edmonton, they run the same three guys. They have no defense and they have no goalie. So, what do you do? Now, to their credit, they went to the finals with that 2 years in a row. But there's a reason why. What's his name? Florida, they won the cup. Right? So, Ottawa's not there yet. Winnipeg is definitely not there. Vancouver, Calgary, they're not there. So, yeah, there's not much in terms of Canadian teams posing a threat right now. Montreal might pose a threat at some point. I think they're looking like they're starting to have the in the future they might start having the possibility of being, but it's insane though. It's been over 30 years that a Canadian team hasn't won the cup. That's nuts. Part of it is mismanagement by a lot. The Montreal Canadiens haven't had a decent management team since Serge Savard. We've had okay coaches, but we haven't had any good even then, coaches, who did we have that was really good? We kept recycling them. You know, Julien had 2 stints. Terrien had 2 stints. The last one that actually was decent, and I don't know, at the time, the issue he got fired because apparently he had communication issues with the team, which I don't know, seems to be bogus. Was when Guy Carbonneau was the coach, and ironically, that was the last time Montreal was #1 in power play. So it's amazing how times change. Granted, it's been at least 15 years now. If you look at Montreal, they were, I think they won, or they were, I don't know if they were #1, but if they weren't, they were close to the top of the league in terms of power play. It was like a little bit over 20%. It was like 21% maybe. Now 21% gets you like 15th in the league. It's so bad. Like, I know scoring has changed, but come on. Like the power play and top in the league is like going back to like the 70s when the Montreal Canadiens had like a 30% power play percentage, which is insane to think about. Scoring has been going up though. I'm actually surprised that the Montreal Canadiens this year are second in scoring. we're not for goals allowed. We're still we're actually a positive team, but not by much. The problem with Montreal is we'll be playing great for like a month, and then we lose like 8-1, and then everything that we built, all the goals that oh come on. Is this got to be offside? Offside. I'm actually I can't wait to actually see Slafkovsky play for his team in Slovakia. He's matured a lot since he played last internationally. So, and last time, I don't think he was. I don't think he was invited. So, or he didn't go if he was invited. And you know what I miss? These types of games. I can't get into the simulator games, like the new NHL games. They're just there's like I don't just give me an arcade type game. It doesn't exist. Nobody wants to do it because there's a freaking licensing issue with EA and has a monopoly on this shit, which sucks. Sasus. Well, it's because they have no competition. There was a point where I used to like 2K. Um, yeah, the last game that I truly enjoyed, and unfortunately never got ported over, like it's not backwards compatible. I would have to take out my original Xbox. Is NHL Hits. NHL Hits 2002. I played the crap out of that game, and it's so fun, so fun. But it is what it is, right? Oh, Laboo. Yeah, NHL Hits 2002. That was my jam. On the original Xbox, I played Halo. I played... oh, almost. NHL... Yeah, NHL Hits and Dead or Alive. Dead or Alive 3. That one was the... And the graphics back then were fantastic. Yeah, it's kind of... You know, it's aged. It shows its age now, but... Oh, yeah, I still have my consoles and stuff like that, and I pull it up. That's not a problem. Like, I still play, and I could still play it on emulator, to be honest. That's not the point. It's just that, you know, it sucks that I can't play it on my Xbox Series X, because I'm sure it would run smoother as well. Now, I could run it on emulator, but... It's like these old games. Like it happens to be 94 because everybody has is nostalgic for 94. But the NHL series from EA was good till about... Like, I mean, some years it was hit or miss. But before it really turned to, like something that wasn't fun anymore, it was maybe early 2000s. And now... There's no more arcade hockey games. I have to go back to playing like the old 3-on-3s and the old games on MAME and stuff like that. It's like I don't know if you've been watching. I watched the Fallout series. And like it's a good series, don't get me wrong, it's a good series, but I miss the series like that you don't have to watch and there's no arc. Hey Tiger, how's it going? Thanks for the lurk. Yeah, 07 to 11, that's good. Yeah. Um ah um Like, I love the Fallout series, but the Fallout series is basically what I find wrong with most modern television series. I miss the TV shows that there's no arc. You don't just watch um, you don't just watch it for the arc or whatever. Like, every show is independent. Yeah, there might be an arc somewhere, but, like, the TV shows are like Matlock or Law and Order or Hunter, you know. Those are the TV shows, like, or Columbo. Like, you could skip an episode and you didn't freaking lose your spot. Now it's like every show, you kind of miss your episode. And from a streaming perspective, I don't know if anybody was watching Fallout, but there's this, like, I have the cheapest package for Prime, for video, Prime Video. So I get like ads. It's like, well, the whole point that I paid for subscription was not to have any ads anymore, and now you're putting back ads. So like, screw you, you know. And now, if you think about it, if everybody pays for like all the streaming services or more than a couple per month, it's probably more than your cable package, right? It's like you know, let me see, it's insane, right? So I don't know. Is this HD? Yeah, it is. Okay. Yeah, so I just miss those. Now, for the Fallout series, I like the first series because the first season because I used to watch it. I binge watched it like in 3 days because the way the TV show is built, every episode is a to be continued. Like everything, like, and I just yeah, and I get it. It's the anticipation of like the weeklies, and that's how it was when we were growing up. Yeah, but I just, I don't have the time. I want to like. So now for a lot of stuff, I don't watch them right away. If they come out weekly, I wait till they get released and then I watch them. So like I did that with Picard. I did that with who's the other one I did it with? Come on. Squirt up our whip. Hope that you guys are having a wonderful Saturday night. And this is a charity stream. Like, and I have to figure out how to put the stream link, my donation link, in my YouTube chat. Again, I am Rusty. So they're only really showing up in the Twitch chat. But if ever you ask me, I can send you the link. But the link is in the Twitch chat. And it's for the Montreal Children's Hospital. So, and next, and I'm debating what I should be playing next on my stream. My streamathon next Friday, February 13th. I was thinking of playing some retro games, but then I was like, oh, maybe I should play something that I haven't played and I've been wanting to play, like Mirage. Not that I'm going to finish it on that stream, but, you get the idea. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. Yeah, the Mirage one. I've never actually. Apparently, it's comes closer to the original games than the new reboot series that they had, like with Origins, Odyssey, and Valhalla. It's more in the vein of the original game, but I don't know. I haven't played it. And what I used to like about playing on stream is that I used to play it after the reviews came out, so I could make my own judgment. Ubisoft games, the last one that I played, Valhalla, was very bloated. It was like very repetitive. At one point, I just wanted to be done with it. I'm not saying that the best one of the new trilogy that they released, for me personally, was Odyssey. I actually really loved the story, but come on, no, Marner, no, thank you. Oh no, yes, thank you. Oh, I won 2-1. I didn't even realize it was the third period. Yeah, it's It sounded interesting, so I wanted to play it. There's System Shock 2 now that came out on consoles that I actually bought. Um, because I wanted to try it out to see how it runs and stuff. There was that. What was the other one? I don't remember what. There we go. I don't. What else do I have? So I don't know. I don't know what I was gonna play. Playing a little actually. I wanted to give it a good try and see what it was. The one thing I always have to say, yeah, you can say all you want about Ubisoft and all their issues and all the games and shit. The Assassin's Creed games are absolutely gorgeous. Like Odyssey is fantastic. Like it looks fantastic. Even Valhalla looked fantastic. Like they nailed it. The problem is the gameplay. They just mail it in, right? They just mail it in, and they're like, yeah, this is what the game is gonna be, and that's it. Their attempt at creating a multiplayer game modeled against Black Flag, they said no. I mean, it sounded like it was Black Flag, but multiplayer. Come on. All right, let me see. Wait. I'm gonna read the chat in a sec. Oh, come on, really? Ubisoft used to be my favorite publisher. I haven't played any AC games. Black Flag was the last time I played because the series changed so much. The series did change a lot. I will give you that, and it kind of lost its original charm. However, if you remove your original AC kind of hat for a minute, the new trilogy is actually not too bad. Origins is fantastic. Odyssey is fantastic. Valhalla, I think, is the weaker of the three. It's the environment that I think I wanted to play the most. But it from a storyline perspective, it's not the best. But the original games, the thing that I used to like about it is that it was an open world, or it was a full open world, right? Like you could, and that's kind of why a lot of people kind of got turned off, because it became bloatware. It just became bloated. I'm at a point in my career, or at my age, where I can't play a game for like 150 hours. I just don't have the time. You know? And that's why the Assassin's Creed games used to be really good, because they used to be like what? The first one was insanely short. I think it was a little too short, but it was stupid short. It was like something like 10 hours or something. Not even. The second one, it started being a little bit, but usually the games were between 10 and 12 hours, right? While the N0 collection, basically, is the best one. Right, that series is the best. Also, like, I don't understand now everything needs to be a remaster. Don't get me wrong, there's games that I wish were remastered or remade in modern graphics. But can we stop with the every game, like a game comes out like 5 years ago? Yeah, it's a remastered. What remastered for what? Oh, come on. Why can't they score? Yeah, the story is really good, but if I had to choose the best AC... Oh, yeah, Brotherhood, yeah. The thing is about the thing about Assassin's Creed 2, the main premise that changed, and they never really concluded. The original never really had, like, there was this whole supposed to be this whole like reveal and shit, and then they rebooted the series out of nowhere, and then they never really concluded that series. So it's kind of like that's I could understand why fans were kind of it left a better taste in their mouth. And then anything else like then Ubisoft comes out with is, it's kind of piss poor. The game that I surprisingly liked, even though it had a rough, come on, it had a rough release, was Cyberpunk 2077. And I'm tempted to buy the Liberty expansion, Liberty City. Yeah, it's because they had no leadership. Like, they had no leadership. Yeah, they changed the way that the game plays, like the RPG elements kind of play. So I could actually. That's kind of like why I'm interested. The thing is, it was a little dear. It was like $40 for an expansion, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not sure I want to pay $40 for an expansion. Like, don't call it an expansion if you know. Yeah, but it comes from the top, right? Like, think of it. The gaming industry, since what? What was the original, like Overwatch type game that came out? Ever since then, everybody's been going with like microtransactions, and then the worst culprit in all this, and nobody talks about this, is PlayStation. People are saying, oh, PlayStation has the best first-party games. Technically, from a single-player perspective, yeah, they still kind of they do pretty good. But they're riding on the microtransactions wagon, and it's like, yeah, no, it's not gonna work, buddy. You know, so. And then what was the game that like failed miserably? It was released for like 2 days, and then they just shut down. Well, exclusives don't exist. They haven't existed in years. People saying that, Microsoft got rid of exclusives. You know when that started? That started in the early 2000s with games for Windows. They tried to do the exact same thing. Release it on console, and then have the game on console and have the game on PC. The reason it just took off now, it's because they're like, hey, we have Game Pass and this and that. But that's been like that for a long time. Then everybody was criticizing Microsoft, but guess what? PlayStation followed suit. All of their first-party games are pretty much on PC now, or they're gonna get released on PCs. The only one that really has exclusives now is Nintendo, to be honest. And for me personally, I don't feel the exclusives on Nintendo worth the price of a Nintendo Switch. For those 3 games I really want to play, all the third-party ones are shittier versions of the ones on the console or PC that I currently have. So there's no point of that. And it's to play the Marios of this world, and there's the four main titles that Nintendo has. Mario, Zelda, Metroid, and what's the other one? Why am I forgetting the fourth one? It's not Pokemon. But you guys get the idea, right? It's just three. It's just like 3 or 4 franchises, and they keep rinse and repeat. Yeah, they have a hit once in a while with like an Animal Crossing and shit, but. And the whole idea of because the thing is, what people forget is, for a long time, consoles were great for certain. There was, even to this day, I still feel there's a certain, it's more worth it because the game used to be better. Now it's just kind of, now it's just kind of worth it. The You have to remember back in the day. I remember, I'm old enough to remember playing with my ColecoVision. That was my first console, the ColecoVision with the Module 1 adapter that had, ooh, nice, that had, that could play Atari games on. The thing is that back then, you went to the arcades, the graphics were amazing. And then you got home, Coleco kind of changed that. Coleco was known for their ports for a long time. And then, so you used to go back home and you didn't have the luxury of having an arcade game that looked exactly the same on console. And for honestly, for consoles, often you bought the game based on the cover art because you knew the game wasn't going to be that great. Or it was very like simplistic. But back then we had fun, right? Like I remember NHL hockey, not NHL, sorry, hockey on Atari. My brother and I would actually have playoff. We would create our own playoff brackets and play best of 7, and we would play, and you know, and then whoever won at the end was a Stanley Cup champion and stuff like that. And so that was back then. Then Nintendo came around, and Nintendo, well, the NES, I mean, the NES came around, and then the games were a little bit more advanced, but they were fun, right? They had a lot of, you know, you had Mario Brothers, you had, you know, sports games, you had, you know, and it was fun, and it didn't look like stick figures anymore. It actually looked more advanced. By the mid 90s, a lot of people were doing PC gaming, right? Then that's when the early 90s is when you started getting the Wolfensteins and the mid 90s where you would have the Wolfensteins, the Dooms, and whatever clone came from that, right? The Doom clones, and so on and so forth. And a lot of games used to come on PC, and there's a period of time I got a Genesis because I used to play hockey and Mortal Kombat with my brother, and there was a point where we just started playing on PC. And the one thing I always found, and I thought about that back then, and I still think about that today, when to play a sports game, an NHL, football, soccer, whatever the case may be, it's better on a console. And even I miss co-op, like playing two teams on the same couch, right? You still have it, but it's not as common as it used to be. But for sports games, it was fun, right? Consoles had its place, and there's certain games where the console has its place. The problem is that from a PC perspective, now you have, you know, you can upgrade it the way you want. Because essentially, since maybe the original Xbox, it's basically a PC that you have with a custom OS. Like in Microsoft's case, it's a version of Windows, and it's basically a PC. Then after that, things evolved, but there was a point, and this is what people forget. There was a point in the late 90s and early 2000s where like you bought a PC and 6 months later you couldn't play shit with it because it was basically a paperweight for games. So people opted to go back to console. So they started going, you know, the PlayStation 2s and so on and so forth. But then there was an emergence of FPSs, right? After Halo and stuff like that. But then you had the Call of Duties, the Battlefields and stuff like that, where you have a better edge on PC than you have on console. So then PC is starting to be coming back again. Now, for myself personally, I have a Series X, which now it's in my gaming room. But usually I used to for the last few years I used to have it in my living room because that's my console where I watch YouTube and I watch Twitch and stuff like that, because it's a better viewing experience. If I watch Twitch on my browser, it sucks. So if I have a better viewing experience there. 90% of my TV viewing is from YouTube, like either old TV shows that I can find that they're streaming or whatever the case may be, right? So I have a use for that. But now we're coming to a time where you're saying to the consumer, hey, you know that $600 console? Like I bought my Xbox Series X for, I think it was on sale. It was $499, I think. It was $499 plus tax. So it was actually pretty cheap. But now there's the PS Pro, the whatever, it's like $800. So that means the next console that's going to be, it's either going to be at 800 or it's going to be like, so you're going to have a lower end model at 800 and you're going to have a higher end model at 1000. Well, now you're starting to blur the lines between, should I build a PC where it has changeable parts, even though it's more expensive, much more expensive now. Thank you, AI. To pay. So do I get a PC, or do I get a new console if it comes out? Xbox is a PC. It always has been. Yeah, the interface changed, but it's always been a PC. Honestly, you can actually hook up your keyboard. I've done it. You hook up your keyboard and your mouse to your Xbox. It's a PC. I can play, because now they have like the retro games, and I can play the old Sierra games on Game Pass. They have like a retro portal, and you can play the Space Quest and stuff like that. It's a point and click. It's pretty hard to play on with a controller. You could hook up your keyboard and mouse, and it works perfectly fine. So it's essentially a PC at this point, a specialized PC that plays games. Right? I can't do my accounting, but I can play games on it. But the thing is, with a PC, it costs more, but I could do more with it as well. I could browse the web, I could do this, I can do that, I can play games. There's more functionality. So now, do I get $1,000 console, or do I get to get a decent PC? The pricing, I'm hoping the pricing goes down. Let's think like a couple of years ago or a year ago. You can get a decent PC that can play pretty modern games, maybe not a high quality, but a decent quality that, for most people might be good, for about $1,500. So for $500 more, you get a PC. Like, first of all, you can customize yourself. You can change the parts. So if it's the graphics card is obsolete, swap it out. If there's things you can do. You don't have that capability with unless you mod it, you don't have that capability with the Xbox or the PS5. So the idea of having a box that plays only games has its place, but I don't think it's going to be, I don't think there's enough people. It's going to be a niche market. Let's put it that way. I think Xbox is thinking about it the wrong way. The problem with Xbox is just like shooting themselves in the foot. Whatever they do, they always shoot themselves in the foot. I don't know what it is about them. They had Game Pass. You had a perfectly great model. Decide to change it out of nowhere. Make it more expensive. Okay, but you didn't give anybody a reason to buy it. You had what, Starfield? Which was a decent game. But then when I played the Outer Worlds 2, that's basically what I said I wanted because the thing with Starfield is, yeah, you can play for 1,000 hours, but it's like Groundhog Day. After you play through the main story and you go to every world, it's the same thing. It's, okay, chase these plants, chase these animals, get these achievements, okay, go to the next. And then you could build like some encampments or settlements or whatever, or labs or whatever. Okay, fine. But it's not like I didn't care for it, right? I just got it's not a game that I would go back to play. Outer Worlds 2, I actually would go back and play it. It was actually fun. Now, it's broken right now. Well, the main story is still working. There's a couple of side quests that are actually soft locked, and you can't actually finish them. So the good news is you can finish the game. The bad news is you need the patch, and they haven't patched it up yet. So I'm hoping that's going to be done. Even with the hike in price for Game Pass, for me personally, it's worth it because I use both the PC and my console. And on the PC, you have like, those solitaire games and stuff like that where you can get like rewards and shit. So I play that during the day, and at night I play on my console, or I play, whatever is only on my PC, available on my PC. I'll play and, oh come on. So that's the thing. So some people, no, you guys don't have to agree with me. I never said that I'm right. But to me, that's what the main crux of the situation here is. Do I get a PC or do I get a console? Now, for some people, it's an easy answer. It's PC all the way, right? PC master race, which I don't believe in, but some people reiterate that. So, I just don't get it. I don't understand like this whole PC versus console thing. Just play where the games are. And maybe it's because I come from a oh, nice. Actually got to save. I come from a time where I had a Genesis when everybody else had a Super Nintendo. And it never affected me. It never affected me that, let's say, I couldn't play Mario. I was just excited with the games that came out on Sega Genesis, like Mortal Kombat and so on and so forth, right? The sports games. I never cared for that, so I'm still of that ilk. Like, for example, I have an Xbox. I care what comes out on the Xbox because that's what I'm going to be playing, right? But if there's a game that's exclusive to PS5, okay, now PS5 is going to be on everything, so it doesn't really matter. But if something came out on PS5, I didn't care. And then people just like to complain for complaining instead of just playing on what works for you and stop complaining about everything. It'll be fine. It's the same with microtransactions. People, like, I understand the frustration over, if you pay to advance and you have better advantage if it gives you an advantage if you pay microtransactions for certain things. I get it. That sucks. But to me, games with it depends. If it doesn't affect anything, why? There we go. If it doesn't affect anything, nobody's forcing you to buy anything. Like gaming companies, their whole goal is to make money, right? If those tactics weren't good to make money, they wouldn't do it. But it's because there's a ton of players that go on and like to buy the newest character or like to buy the newest outfit or like to buy whatever. There's no need for that. You don't have to. That's the thing that people have no control. Like, they see microtransactions, it's as if like they need to buy it. They don't need to buy shit. So, like, play the games that you like. Like, for me, I like single player games. Usually. Not games that last like 6 years. My God, Drouin is doing good. Not on. That's good. I have made it to the second round, and I will probably be playing Boston. Continue playoffs. Why am I playing Toronto again? Hey, I'm playing Washington. I'm playing your team. But I thought Boston won. I guess Washington won. My bad. I misread it. Alright, so Washington, here we come. Who's in nets here? Troy. Who's in nets for Washington? I don't know. Who was? It must be Holtby. Based on the, it's not the roster from '94. It's the roster from like 2014 or whatever, 15 I think, or at least 2020. Because Shea Weber's with the Montreal Canadiens, so, and Drouin is there, so yeah. Like all these, and also I personally, and this is why I stopped even around table and corporate gamer, like making reviews. I feel there's too many voices out there. There's way too much noise, and I was just adding to the noise, and there was no point. I just don't care for. Oh, nice, blockage. I just don't see, like, IGN, forget it. The thing is now, like, a lot of these outlets, you're either pro Xbox or you're pro this or you're pro that, and it's like, okay, I'm just a gamer. There's a few that I still respect their opinion. Newer YouTubers, it's ACG. I might not always agree with him, but his points are valid usually. One is an old school guy that I actually still like. It's called Electric Playground with Victor Lucas. He actually is on his YouTube channel. He actually has he actually posts like his old videos from like the early 2000s and stuff, which is actually really cool. He still reviews stuff, and he's still pretty platform agnostic. He plays everything. Again, I don't always agree with his views, but no, it's still fun that there's somebody that's not pro one or pro the other. Come on. What time is it? I'm doing this for an hour and a half. Oh, it's 9:30. Okay. Oh, come on. Do 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 do. I kind of unsubscribed to a lot of my gaming channels that I used to be part of, because I just didn't care for, like, oh, gamers want this, gamers don't know what they want. It's like recently for Fallout, they had a what's it called? A timer on their website on the map. Everyone and their grandmother was like saying, "Oh, this is about the new remasters for Fallout 3 and this and that." There was no indication that there was anything related to that. And then the date came, and then it was like, oh yeah, it wasn't about that. And then fans were pissed, and now they're trying to find other ways to like think about, like, Fallout 3 and a remaster for New Vegas is coming. Could you guys stop? Like, seriously, you got it wrong. You don't know what you want. You don't know how things work. You're hoping and then thinking it's gospel, but it's not. I just couldn't take it anymore. I was like, yeah, I'm done. I was like, boy. All right. Well, the Montreal Canadiens were not playing tonight, but I am streaming for the Montreal Children's Hospital, and since they're not playing, Might as well play a playoff series. So I won against the Toronto Maple Leafs, which was fantastic. Always feels good to beat Toronto from a Montreal perspective. And, um, like, I just like, actually, this game, what I used to love is I used to play this between studying sessions. Like, I would study for an exam, for example, take a half-hour break, play a game or two, and then I would go back to playing. That's what I miss. And by the way, thank you for everyone that's joining the stream. Thank you for... I'll still call you Stimp, but official Pixel Pro Rejects. I appreciate you passing by and chatting it up. I really appreciate it. It's always a joy to chat with you. And I don't... and I know not everybody agrees with my views. But apparently now you offend everyone anyways, so... Not you, but I mean... No matter what anybody does, everybody gets offended now. So I'm going to offend somebody at some point. Well, technically the roster from here is one. It should be similar to the one that won the Stanley Cup. So technically they would be stronger than the Montreal Canadiens. But I'm playing against a computer, so you know how that is, right? Right now I'm ahead. Maybe they'll come back. I do have Carey Price. Actually, I think I've told this. I've said this to you before. I was never an Ovi, like a super like. That's not true. I've always liked Ovi. Like, I loved the fact that he was a rough and tough. He was a scorer, but he's always been hitting and stuff like that. And I always found it a shame that he always would lose to Pittsburgh or first or second round. And when 2018 happened, I was so happy that he won. I actually wore my Capitals jersey the day after, because I was happy for the guy. He actually won. And the worst part is, if, let's say, it would happen to Matthews in Toronto, I wouldn't feel the same way. Well, I kind of don't blame him. The guy's offensive. He's offensive-minded, right? So it's offense first. So... The first few years that he was in the playoffs, well, until 2017, really, the issue is that everything relied on his shoulders. Like, no matter who was on the team, everything revolved around him. And then when Trotz came around, he's like, hey, by the way, there's a team around you. And they finally played a team game more than relying on him. And that's when he did really... Yeah, and he got less points that year. If I remember correctly, like, he wasn't producing as much. But they were also well coached. Trotz is a fantastic coach. Horrible GM, but great coach. Well, I think he said either you retire or we're going to fire you. And I think he realizes that he's not a good GM. Because it's not the same. It's not the same. I think it was a logical step, but some of them just don't have it. It's like, think of... somebody made me think of this recently. I forget which podcast I was listening to. And they were talking about Gretzky being, coach of the Coyotes, right? It was a horrible experiment. And And to a point as well in Montreal's history, people forget, but Rocket Richard was actually a coach of the Montreal Canadiens for a very, very short while. The problem with those players is, I'll give you an example. The difference between Gretzky and Martin St. Louis. Martin St. Louis went up the ranks. He had to earn his spots. He had to understand the game a different way. He actually had to understand the game. Hey, do this and don't do this. Yeah, there was a bit of instinct, but the idea here is that he had to learn a lot of stuff. Whereas Gretzky lived on instinct. He played based on instinct. So when you have instinct, it's hard for some people to actually translate that into teaching. Like how do you teach hockey players to anticipate a play? You can't. Gretzky had great vision, you know, and that's the thing. He wasn't a great coach, and he never coached again, and he probably realized like it's not for me, right? Apparently he was too nice of a coach to be a coach. So like I'm sure he had some knowledge that he could relay, but the idea here is that not everyone's could be a good coach. Same thing with a GM. Not everyone's a great GM, right? Just because you were a coach and you have NHL experience, that's why I find it was really cool for the Montreal Canadiens to pick who they picked. They went to go get Gordon he got fired, but they got Gordon pretty much from New York after he got fired. Just boneheaded move by New York, but anyways, and he hired. Because they realized with Montreal, you need 2 GMs to do the job. 1 GM is too much. Because you have one in front of the camera and you have one to actually do the work behind it. Gordon is not French. He doesn't speak French. It's fine. Hughes does speak French. He's the one that does most of the on-camera work very often. So, they do a really good tandem. So he went to go get, oh, come on, really? They went to go get Hughes, right? Gordon went to go get Hughes at that point. The guy's a player agent. Brilliant. The guy knows how negotiations work. And look at what he's done in terms of contract signings. He signed Lane Hudson to less than $10 million a year. $8.85 million for 8 years. Think about that. Toronto can't even get Matthews to sign for less than 13. Right? He has a way from negotiating. None of our players are above 9. I think the only one that's above 9 million is what's his name? Dobson. And he's fantastic. And he's been doing really good. I know everybody kind of told us that we sucked for trading for him, but hey, it's what it is. But the idea here is that, they went to outside of the box to hire somebody in GM. That's not a typical GM. Where am I? Okay, I'm here. Then, I don't know, halfway through the season, I think, they went to go hire Martin St. Louis as coach. A guy that was teaching, his highest level of coaching was Pee Wee, which was with his kids. And a lot of people doubted him when he first came in. The first few years were like, okay, well, and he admitted himself, like he's learning the job too, right? And first year, it was fantastic. Oh, and right before him, they hired Ducharme, right? Yeah, that was Ducharme. Cole Caulfield was miserable. I think he had 1 goal or 2 goals up to that point. And then when St. Louis took over, he went on this amazing hot streak. And he hasn't looked back since. And he has a way, and the first few years, he was emphasizing character, right? He was emphasizing player development, one-on-one, right? To make sure everybody was on the same page. And the players seem to respond really well to that. He's coming. He still has. There's some question. Sometimes there's some things that are questionable. His decisions from a coaching perspective in game. But my God, look at what he's not now. He does have a lot of talent on the team, but doesn't mean because you have a lot of talent you can do anything with it, right? Think of Edmonton for years. They had McDavid, Draisaitl, they had a bunch of things, and nothing ever happened, right? So it doesn't mean because you have, or look at Toronto. It doesn't mean because you have a ton of talent. Doesn't mean that you could get the team to the next level. Now, having said that, the team has kind of, they haven't won anything yet. They got into playoffs last year. Great. This year they're coming. We're hoping to make it out of the first round, maybe, if we're lucky. We're starting to have a few players now that have had the taste of playoffs, where you have Anderson, Caulfield, Suzuki, Gallagher. He's getting older, but Demidov played last year as well. He didn't look out of place. Hudson had played last year. He didn't look out of place. We have a more solid back end, in my opinion. Yes, there's things to be done, but I feel like we're a lot better off than the numbers show, personally. And we've also been riddled with a lot of injuries. We lost Newhook, which was really hot, and Line A is Line A. I think it was better that he got injured than playing for the Habs, because he's slow as molasses and he can't play on any of our lines. What else? Doc was injured as well for a long time. He's always injured, but that's the thing. We had Gooley that was injured for a while as well. So we've had pretty substantial injuries to our main roster team, and we've actually still met. And on top of that, we've had goalie issues. We can't stop a puck, and we're still winning. So imagine if we had a goaltender. That's why I'm saying that I don't think the defense is that bad. I think some games, yes, I could say that it's not the goalie's fault. It was the oh, I scored. It wasn't the goalie's fault. It was the defense. And there's other times where I feel like it's the defense that let the goalie down. But at the end of the day, we've had troubles and we still managed to win in a very, very tough division. It's insane. Like the Atlantic Division is absolutely insane. Ooh, fantastico. So yeah, I'm really hopeful for the Montreal Canadiens. I can't stand Tampa Bay and Florida. I'm just fed up with them. I'm done. I'm done with them now. Oof. How did you miss the net? Yeah. Give me 1 second. Let's make sure I'm not missing anything. All right. I knew this was going to happen. It was due to happen. So I think we covered tonight the NHL, sports, the Super Bowl halftime show, and PC versus consoles. It's a time to be alive. Ooh. I don't remember at this point. Yeah, I think the white means you're away, yeah. I missed... Actually, you know what I really liked? They did it at the beginning of the year, or early in January. No, it wasn't January. I think maybe it was January. It was like it was Montreal Canadiens versus Avalanche in Colorado. and they wore the Nordiques jerseys. And that was cool. I was like, oh, okay. But seeing the Quebec jerseys at home at the Bell Center, to me, was actually really, really cool. Now, don't get me wrong. I always hated the Nordiques. that from a rivalry perspective, Boston, I think number one for Montreal, number one was always Nordiques and Montreal, and then second was Boston. Now Boston took over because obviously Nordiques left, and we had some pretty good battles in the playoffs against in the early 2000s or 2010s, I should say. Oh, fuck. But seeing those blue jerseys again was a treat. It was a treat, I have to say. It's sweet. Thanks for the lurk, Pixel Reject. OPR. Thank you for passing by. I really appreciate it. And thanks for the convo. I will always appreciate your convos, or any convos. You know, I said this last stream, but I made some really awesome friends. Like, even I'm not big streamer by any stretch of the imagination, but the one thing it did do is it did emphasize, it did open up avenues for, like, friendships and stuff like that. There's people that I still talk to this day. I still continue talking to them. It's really fun, and I really appreciate everything that they do. So, and some of them still stream, some of them don't. Some of them kind of stop streaming due to various reasons. I feel like it's and maybe it's just me, and I know I'm not that super interesting, but I used to remember having a little bit more in terms of passerbys that used to pass by the stream. It seems it's not happening. A lot of the people that have been on my stream, for the most part, are people that have been following me. It's like my own followers that came back. But there's no one new, like, there's no discoverability anymore. It's like, it's really null. I don't know if that's... I know I just started streaming again, but I've noticed it's a bit of a different vibe than it used to be. Oh. I always had more trouble scoring up than scoring down. I'm old enough to remember when hockey games used to be side to side and not up and down. I have to admit, EA actually did a good thing by doing that. I'm not saying they're the first ones, but they did good by choosing this aspect ratio or this gameplay view. Oh, come on. And of course I pressed the wrong button. Fantastico. Oh, come on. Come on. Oh, yes. Boo. Nice. Goal. But ching. Yeah, and I remember the last time I streamed, when I stopped streaming, I remember I had asked to not be part of the, be a partner. Not a partner, affiliate, I think it was called. And they took it off and then they put it back on and never took it off again. So, I don't know. And they sent me a thing saying, hey, we owe you some money. I'm like, yeah, I don't want to get paid. I don't want the headache. Come on, are you gonna... Come on. By the way, for the Montreal Children's Hospital, any donation that comes in, I will be matching dollar for dollar up to $300. Canadian, of course. So there is a matching happening. So any dollar matters. Doesn't matter where. Doesn't matter how. Every dollar matters, no matter how much it how much you can provide. And I know, and I completely understand. If you can't, I know times are tight. It's not super easy. I'm not one to complain about price, honestly. For a lot of things, like inflation happens and it's fine. But I have to admit, produce, at least in Montreal, it's pretty. it went up in price. You try to buy local and try to buy something cheaper, but still, like if I compare the same order that I would make before the pandemic to now, it kind of doubled. And I could understand somebody that's paying a mortgage, something that's paying student loans or whatever. That's putting a damper on your... It's not super easy, I get it. And to have some random guy streaming shit and saying, hey, donate to the Montreal Children's Hospital is not always... Oh, good for me. It's not always easy. But if you can, it's great. If you can't, it's all good. Since I don't get paid or I haven't updated my payment info for Twitch, if you give me bits, I'm not going to receive the money. So if you're better off just donating straight on the link itself. Second period is done. Et le but. Jeff Petrie from Tomasz Tatar and Jonathan Drouin. The man, the myth, the legend. Let's go here. The one game I wish that they would remaster or redo, and they kind of did this pseudo thing where they're releasing, like the third party was trying to do this, is the original Deus Ex. It would be nice to renew it, and at least in the Mankind Divided graphics. But yeah. And for some reason, like I looked at the the remaster that they're talking about. The mod that's already there, revision for Deus Ex revision, is the same. So I don't understand what they're doing more. And it's on GOG, so it means it plays on modern... Yeah, it's not a PC, fine. But it's not on console, which is fine. Except it is on the... I think the original Deus Ex was released on the PlayStation. I don't remember if it's the PlayStation 2, but I do remember it's the PlayStation 2 or 3. It must have been the PlayStation 2. Yeah, it got released in 2002, I think. So yeah, that must have been it. But yeah, that's a game that I wish they would remaster, because I know people poo poo they love the first game, and then Infinity War was garbage. I played it on stream before. I've played Human Revolution twice, and I played Mankind Divided twice. I like those games. I know a lot of people poo-pooed the Mankind Divided one, but yeah, the story is maybe a little bit weaker, but I really I really liked the game. It was really, really fun. But boo. Usually this is rare that I stream for 2 hours and actually have something to say for like 2 hours. Usually after a while I get quiet because I don't know what to say anymore. I still don't understand people that stream like for 8 hours straight or for 8 hours a day. I don't understand it. Like, I guys, seriously, it makes no sense. I don't know how you do it. And I'm not saying no pee breaks or whatever. That's not the point. It's the point that you're streaming for 8 hours. Like, playing games is fun, but even when I was a kid, like, yeah, I would play video games, but it wouldn't be that. 3 minutes left. I would play video games, but it would be like for an hour or whatever, and then the only time that I played more is when I think it was Sonic 2, and I used to keep the console on, not to lose my computer, not to lose my space, my spot, because I know there was a memory for Genesis, or at least on those cartridges, but I never really, I never trusted those, so I left it on, and then I think it was my dad that was cleaning, or my brother, and he unplugged it, and I lost my progress, and I was like, fuck, I hate you. But those were the struggles back then. Not anymore. I'm actually interested. I would be interested to understand. Like, you get a lot of insider information on how games are created today. But I would really like to go back to like the mid to late 90s and see how games were created back then. Because obviously teams weren't as big, budgets weren't as big. And I know that we were talking about Ubisoft earlier. EA too, like when they first started off as electronic something art. I think it was EOA initially. It wasn't just Electronic Arts. It was something. They released. They're the ones that released on my Tandy. It was one-on-one Dr. J versus Larry Bird. And then they came out with the Jordan Bird, I think, one after that. Those were fun. And they came out with some really good games at the beginning, and then they just went greedy and power hungry, and I don't understand it. I just don't. Let's play one more game, and then we'll call it quits. And I apologize that I'm not staring at the cam very often. My wire to my monitor is not as long. It's not long enough. Tomasz. Well, hope you guys are enjoying the stream. My little corner of Twitch and YouTube. I have to learn to promote my shit better. I used to have a better promotional game than I do now. I did put it on Blue Sky and Twitch and Twitter. I don't have my Facebook page anymore, which was kind of stupid because most of it was bots anyways. So that didn't really ever end up doing much. Ooh, the move by Tomasz. Come on. How do you guys feel about AI? Seems that it's the topic of the day that everyone wants to hate. Come on. Oh, seriously? Come on. Come on. Boo. And le but. Boop, 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 boop. Nice. First period for nothing. Ooh. Pixel rejects ain't gonna like that. And didn't move this time. Sometimes the controls suck. All things considered, I'm actually impressed on how well I'm playing this on an Xbox controller. I stopped pressing the Y button. I think I played it a couple of times in the past, and I always would press the wrong button, and the Y button on the Xbox controller is a pause button, so it would pause the game randomly, which was really annoying. I'm about to score, and I pressed the wrong button. First period done. Oh. Could have scored. Could have scored, but didn't score. Come on. You can do it. Whoa. I hit my own guy in the head. Bravo. I don't know what the thing is. There's a little bell, and I can't. That used to be when the. I used to think it used to be when the penalty was over. If there is a penalty. But there's no penalties in this game. There are injuries, though. But usually the injuries are period-based, so you're out for the period, not out for the game, for the most part. Alright. Oh! The passing play from Gallagher to Drouin. Boop, boop. Man, I'm really demolishing Washington. I shouldn't be demolishing them this easy with this Montreal team, unfortunately. This is why playing against a computer is never... The goal. The wraparound with an empty net. Goalie caught off guard. I think I'm going to try and find, if I can find an installer for the original NHL 93 on PC that I used to like to play. I'll try and see if I can play it. Or if I could find it. Maybe on Internet Archive. I actually was surprised on Internet Archive. I had found Superstar Hockey, which is my first PC hockey game that I ever had. I think it's by Sports Time, I think. No, it's Sports Time Hockey. Who's the publisher? I don't remember what the publisher is. It was actually pretty, it was, or the developer. But it was fun. It was one of the first games that you actually had a season. 7-0. Am I going to have a shutout? Watch it. Watch them score like 2-3 goals in a row. All right. Boo. They're gonna score under. I'm playing like poop. Come on. That would be a penalty in today's NHL if I just ran, like, charged straight to the goalie. Like, it makes no sense. And there we go. I knew this was going to happen. Oh, come on, really? Ovechkin. From all people. The sports game that I actually miss playing is on PC at one point. There was a Hardball 4 with Al Michaels. That was a fun game. Come on. You're gonna try and make a comeback? Come on. Oh. Well, that sucks. Well, that would have been a tripping goal. Or should have been a tripping goal. You can do it. Eighth goal. 5 minutes left into the third period. Oh, come on, really? What happened there? I have no idea. He stacked the pads. Ah, fuck me. Oh, wide of the goal. How many millions are you being paid? Boo. Oh, come on. Can't start losing the game now. I know we have it. You think you have it in the bag, but there's still 2 minutes left. And in these games, that could mean anything. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying, bro? So many offsides. A lot of these goals wouldn't have counted in today's NHL, that's for sure. Doody, 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 doody. Ole, 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 ole. Oh, come on, really? Well, I looked like an idiot on that one. And I have won. I think it's 3-0 in the series. Alright, let's quit this. Tomasz Tatar. Who has the most points? Drouin with 12 goals, 14 assists, and 26 points. He would have dreamed having those numbers in Montreal. That's insane. Yeah, I'm winning 3-0. But we're going to have to go to... I think we're going to have to call it quits for tonight. Alright guys, thank you so much for coming onto the stream. I really, really appreciate it. You guys are the best. Thank you, Official Pixel Rejects, for chatting it up. Really appreciate it. Tagger, thank you for passing by. And for the lurk, really appreciate it. And also for the lurk, OPR. Just a little reminder, next Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, I will be doing a streamathon for the Montreal Children's Hospital. All my streams are charity, but this one is particularly a streamathon. I'll probably be streaming from about 10 a.m. Eastern Time till about 10 a.m. Eastern Time to about 2 to 3 p.m. Eastern Time as well. So if you're at work and you wanted to have something in the background while you work, jump onto the stream. If you can't make it and you still want to donate, the link is in the chat. Montreal Children's Hospital, just look up Corporate Gamer and you will find my page. If not, you can find it here. No obligation whatsoever. And I'm gonna put it well, actually, there's not much in terms of in the YouTube channel right now, but yeah, if you guys want to pass by, I'll be there. Starting to get back into the streaming things. It's been a long time and I'm a little rusty. I still have to find some things, but I'm hoping that things will iron out and I will get better. So I thank each and every one of you for passing by. I really appreciate it. Hope that you have a wonderful rest of the day and night, and I'll see you next time. All right, guys, have a good one. Ciao.